You couldn't even imagine this. If you are waking up to find out that someone has been following your every move, sending you threatening messages, and even circling your home multiple times a day. This was Caitlin Clark's reality.
There's something wrong with this man. He is clearly not all right in the head, and he is clearly dangerous. This is awful. I hate hearing stories like this.
A man named Michael Lewis from Texas traveled all the way to Indianapolis with one horrifying mission: to stalk Caitlin Clark. This is not just an invasion of privacy, it's a crime that has shaken the sports world. Lewis used social media platforms to send Clark sexually explicit and threatening messages, turning her online presence into a nightmare. What's worse, he bragged about circling her house 3 times a day, leaving her in a constant state of fear.
There was a man from Texas who traveled to Indianapolis. He's been arrested he's alleged to have stalked Caitlin Clark and sent her threatening text messages and the like, just a gross situation all around. And Michael Lewis is the guy's name.
This wasn't just a fan's overzealous behavior. This was a dangerous obsession in its purest form. Authorities tracked Lewis down through his IP address, a stark reminder that technology can be a double-edged sword. Despite being warned by police to stop, Lewis continued his actions, brushing them off as a fantasy thing. But there's nothing imaginary about the terror he inflicted on Clark. His arrest finally brought a semblance of relief, but the damage was already done. This story is a grim reminder of how public figures, especially women in sports, often face dangers that go unnoticed.
Michael Lewis, the suspect in question, traveled to Indianapolis from Texas. Authorities identified him through his IP address. It is alleged that this man was direct messaging Caitlin Clark and also tweeting at her on X. And he even said at one point that he had been driving around your house 3 times a day.
While fans see their victories and success, the darker side of fame often remains hidden until it's too late. Caitlin Clark's incredible performances on the basketball court made her a global sensation. Fans celebrated her talent, and she became a beacon of inspiration for many. But while the world applauded her achievements, Clark was silently enduring a nightmare. Clark chose not to make her ordeal public, a decision that allowed misconceptions to grow. Many believed she was untouched by the challenges of fame, assuming her life was as perfect as it seemed on the surface. But this couldn't be further from the truth. Behind the scenes, she was battling fear, anxiety, and the weight of being a target for someone's dangerous obsession. Social media has transformed the way fans connect with their idols. Platforms like Instagram, Twitter, and Snapchat offer athletes a way to build their brand and engage with their audience. But this connection comes at a cost. Fans often demand more. Details about where athletes are, what they're doing, and even intimate aspects of their personal lives. This constant sharing creates a dangerous vulnerability. While many athletes share glimpses of their lives to maintain their following, they unintentionally expose themselves to risks. Caitlin Clark, however, has been cautious about her online presence, focusing on her passion for basketball and maintaining her privacy. Even so, her case highlights how dangerous this double-edged sword can be. Caitlin Clark's story isn't an isolated incident. Paige Bueckers and other prominent female athletes have also faced stalking and harassment. As women's sports gain more visibility, the risks faced by athletes are escalating. Fame brings more opportunities, but it also attracts the attention of individuals with harmful intentions. Stalking cases often follow a pattern. They begin with seemingly harmless messages, escalate to invasive behavior, and can culminate in serious threats. Athletes, especially women, are disproportionately affected, making it clear that leagues and organizations need to step up their efforts to protect players. Caitlin Clark's experience serves as a wake-up call for sports leagues worldwide. The WNBA and similar organizations must prioritize athlete safety, establishing dedicated systems to monitor and address threats. This includes employing private investigators, improving security measures, and creating comprehensive support networks for players. For athletes, maintaining privacy and being cautious about their online presence is critical. Avoiding real-time updates and limiting personal details shared online can make a significant difference, but the responsibility shouldn't rest solely on their shoulders. Leagues must take proactive steps to ensure that players can focus on their careers without fearing for their safety. Caitlin Clark's case highlights a growing issue in the world of women's sports, the darker side of fame. While athletes like Clark inspire millions with their performances, they are also more vulnerable than ever to stalking, harassment, and threats. The demand for constant visibility on social media amplifies this problem. Fans often demand more from their favorite athletes, more updates, more personal details, more access. But this never-ending hunger for information turns into a dangerous game when those details fall into the hands of people with harmful intentions. Caitlin Clark's low-profile approach to social media is a commendable strategy, but not every athlete has the luxury or knowledge to protect themselves in the same way. Michael Lewis's actions remind us how stalking behavior often escalates. What starts as online messages can quickly lead to real-world danger. Lewis didn't stop at sending Clark inappropriate texts. He traveled to her city, circled her home, and bragged about his actions. The authorities acted only after these behaviors became undeniable, but this delay is a recurring issue. Often law enforcement cannot intervene until a direct threat to someone's life is made. This reactive approach leaves victims vulnerable and highlights the need for preventative measures.
But Caitlin Clark has been the center of so many different conversations for months. She has been the talk of the sports world and beyond. Basically every day she was, for months. And those conversations went to all kinds of crazy places. Some of it was basketball, much of it was not basketball. Obviously, she was asked to weigh in on other WNBA players being harassed or what her fans were doing, racial implications of her being a white girl in the league.
The lack of robust protection systems in sports leagues is a glaring issue. For female athletes, the risks are even greater, and the resources to address them are woefully inadequate. Leagues like the WNBA must do more than just provide on-court security. They need specialized departments to monitor threats, investigate stalkers, and ensure the well-being of their players. Athletes like Caitlin Clark should not have to shoulder the responsibility of documenting threats and hiring private investigators to feel safe. This burden distracts from their careers and adds unnecessary emotional strain. A structured system that prioritizes player safety is not just a luxury, it's a necessity. Platforms like Snapchat, Instagram, and Twitter are integral to building an athlete's brand, but they also expose them to significant risks. Posting in real time or sharing location-specific updates can inadvertently provide stalkers with critical information. For athletes, balancing engagement with privacy is a constant challenge. Clark's approach, sharing minimal personal information and focusing on her game, is a model for how athletes can protect themselves. However, not everyone adopts this strategy. Younger players, particularly those new to the spotlight, may fall into the trap of oversharing, unintentionally putting themselves in danger. Caitlin Clark's experience underscores the importance of awareness and action. Athletes must recognize the risks associated with their visibility and take proactive steps to safeguard their privacy. However, the responsibility cannot rest solely on their shoulders. Leagues, fans, and social media platforms all play a role in creating a safer environment. Leagues need to prioritize security, fans must respect boundaries, and platforms must implement stronger measures to prevent harassment.
But fans will continue to demand more, demand more. What are you doing? Show us your family. Show us your boyfriend. What are your friends doing? What city are you in? What was your vacation like? What hotel are you staying at? All of these things, when creeps come around like this, or when there's people who don't have great intentions, all the money in the world, all of the fame, all of that is not going to matter.
Fans often see only the glamour of an athlete's life, the endorsements, the victories, the fame. Rarely do they consider the toll this visibility takes. Athletes like Caitlin Clark often endure harassment silently, out of fear of being misunderstood or seen as weak. As fans, it's crucial to respect their boundaries. Sharing posts, sending positive messages, and supporting players is great, but respecting their privacy is even more important. Caitlin Clark's case also serves as a reminder of the power of community. Speaking up about athlete safety, spreading awareness, and holding leagues accountable can drive meaningful change. Let's not forget other athletes like Paige Buchers, who have faced similar challenges, highlighting the need for systemic reform in sports organizations. The growing popularity of women's sports is a positive development, but it comes with challenges. Leagues like the WNBA and NCAA must evolve to address these challenges, prioritizing the safety of their players. Enhanced security measures, dedicated threat monitoring teams, and comprehensive mental health support should become standard. For athletes, maintaining privacy and using social media cautiously is crucial. Avoiding real-time posts, limiting personal information, and being aware of the risks associated with visibility can help mitigate threats. These actions, coupled with stronger institutional safeguards, could save lives and careers. Caitlin Clark's story is a wake-up call for the sports world and society at large. Fame and success should never come at the cost of safety. As fans, let's demand better systems to protect our athletes and respect their boundaries. If this story resonated with you, don't forget to subscribe for more eye-opening discussions. Together, we can make a difference in creating a safer environment for our heroes in sports.